So, in my research, I was trying to find out if Gerard's dad ever remarried. I saw that there were comments that he has a stepmom. Anyway, I found this thread from the Kiwi Farms, which I've experienced one time before. I believe it's very similar to 4chan. Again, don't roast me. I just have not been on these forums. But a individual sent a post, and this was November 20th. A month ago, they were already investigating, and the information they came up with was well documented here. You can see that Indie Land begins. You can see how much money they made. You can see the expenses, and then you can see the gross funds. Very obvious that you donated $600,000, but there might still be some money left, not even including the golf tournament. So the Completionist has, he used to be a much, much bigger channel with many more views. And in doing so, the only thing that kind of is keeping his channel alive is Indie Land. And Indie Land is a way that he can use his dead mom to garner sympathy, engagement, empathy, donations. When his channel, I have a much better understanding after researching him for a while. I have a much better understanding of his psychology. There is a video clip that he did about his dead mom and about how she wanted somebody to be famous. I'm just gonna read you that stuff right now because it's kind of hard to even understand that this type of stuff was happening, and the amount of content that he has is quite significant. So it's the Story Collider from May 26, 2017. Gerard Khalil, what if she's still in there somewhere? So when I was growing up, money was not really around, but my father grew into it because my mom's dream was to own a flower shop. So his whole life he worked hard for her and he got her a flower shop. She wanted to have 5 kids, so they had 5 kids. He wanted to make money and provide and really care for his family. And right around my 10th birthday, my parents stopped being parents. They were like, we did 4. The last one can take care of himself. But more importantly, my mom started changing. I saw a change in her that was very different and very weird. To give you an idea, my father owns 3 mobile gas stations in southern Los Angeles, as well as owns a marketing company based on mobile oil and the convenience industry. So if you go to a Chevron or a mobile gas station or Circle K and you see the nice, pretty back bar design and stuff, my father is probably one of the people that brought that to the table. So in his 90s, he in the 90s was thriving in this industry. He was making $1 million deals and working his butt off. My mom was taking care of all 5 of us kids, doing, there's 5 of us, so that means we all have to learn languages, we all have to play 18 different instruments, we had to be on student council, and Collegian, and Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and all that stuff. So she was a super person, she was a super mom, she was doing all these incredible things. Around my 10th birthday, she was just like, this sucks, I don't want to do this anymore. So my dad said, well, what can we do, Karen? What can I do next? You wanted the flower shop, I got you the flower shop. You wanted kids, I got you kids. You wanted money, we got the money. What more can I do for you? I want to make sure this family is still family. Of course, my mom was like, no, that's not what I mean. It's just I can't be a super mom all the time. I need to do something for me and for our family in a way that doesn't feel like I'm just doing a 9 to 5. So my mom got an idea. She wanted to make her kids a star, or one of them at least a star. That was her whole thing, is she wanted to make someone famous. She knew nothing about the music industry. She knew nothing about fame or fortune in that regard. She didn't know anything, but all she knew was she wanted to do this thing. And she was driven. My mom was a very driven person. The things we would do. So she got what she wanted. My father financed her company, and the company was awful, just waste of money. No direction, had no contacts, no one involved was able to kind of help her shape what she was doing. She was kind of fledgling, and she didn't know what to do. Then she met a man named Bill Head. Now, Bill Head was a country singer, a retired musician from Kansas City who had moved out to California to try to get his hands into young talent and produce them and kind of live off their royalties. And he had an idea of the music industry. He kind of came in. He was like 6'4", skinny, just long, greasy hair, hat, glasses, very like you don't trust this guy. It's kind of creepy. So he and my mom started this company together. And when I say started this company together, I mean he asked for money and she gave him everything he asked for. Lo and behold, the man known as Bill Head was not actually Bill Head. He was a con man from Tennessee who had just convinced my mom to give him over $500,000 in hopes to create this company. But at that point, my mom was so excited and so happy to see what she was building that the money that she was spending didn't really matter. She was happy and she started changing even more and more as the days went on. Eventually, she found herself back into faith. My family is technically Catholic, Christian, but we don't really go to church or anything. But my mom suddenly got re-energized by faith. And Bill at the time, this guy was like, oh yeah, I know all about faith. I know all the pastors and people from the West Coast to the East Coast. Let's go on a tour. So suddenly I, having a medical condition, was yanked out of school, and I did a tour of my mom and this stranger to all different pastors from the West Coast to the East Coast. So there's probably even footage of me online somewhere. The Trinity Broadcasting Network, they used to have those public sermons where guys would smack you in the head and you'd fall over and tongues are coming out. There's got to be footage of me somewhere, a 12-year-old me just getting smacked in the head and waking up in the hotel room the next day. But my mom took me on the incredibly long journey that made no goddamn sense. I should not have gone. I should not have graduated into 6th grade. I missed 9 months of school, and I didn't really remember much of that time. But I did remember was my mom transformed. She went from being the woman who was about strong principles and family and love and care to a woman who was being manipulated into someone who loved drinking and alcohol and drugs and trusted everyone, but had no ability to judge or say what she was doing. She was just kind of feeding the machine, if you will. So after 9 months of traveling on the road, meeting minister after minister, I stole her cell phone and I called my dad and said, I want to come home. My dad, for some weird reason, didn't piece together I was with her. He thought that there were caretakers at home because my father was running a business. He was traveling all over the world, literally every single week. So he's like, why are you not in school? So he pieced them together and said, oh my God, he needs to go home. So my mom comes back from this long trip, and my dad looks at the bank account statements and all the money and all the trips and everything, and she had spent a lot of money, maxed her credit cards, all this stuff. My dad was like, what happened? What's going on? And my mom said, I don't care. I'm sad in this relationship. I'm getting a divorce. It's over. My father, most men in this situation would probably freak out, be upset, and really just like go through a lot of emotional change. My father, for some weird reason, didn't. He was kind of like someone who's playing poker and was just like, I know what I'm doing. Now something is not right. So he assessed everything that was going on, and my mom was talking about divorce, taking all his hard work and the family and kids. All of us kids saw everything. We witnessed everything that was going on, and we knew that something wasn't right. So my father says, you can divorce me and take everything you want as long as you go with me to the doctor. And she was like, oh, that's easy. Let's go to the doctor. That sounds like an easy trip. Well, the trip to the doctor lasted about 3.5 months worth of testing. She got tested and tested and tested, and no one knew what was wrong with her. But there was something chemically wrong in her brain. They couldn't figure out why she was changing the way she was. It took almost 2.5 years from there. I was 14 years old. It was my first day in high school. and we're all getting together. I get called out of class. We go to the doctor's office in Guardia, and the doctor says your mom has been diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. And that's basically Alzheimer's, right? Except Alzheimer's is more back of the brain. The frontal lobes, or the lobes in the front, are more emphasis of the illness. So basically, my mom basically degraded to the state of a child until she passed away. It's a very sad story, actually, Gerard tells, but you can tell that he was basically kidnapped by his mom. His mom had spent a lot of money on promoting and the scammer, and he may have very mixed emotions about his mom. And I think this actually kind of goes in it, like, you gotta dig deep. True crime is digging deep into people's intentions, and obviously this individual that his mom met and basically kidnapped Gerard, right? And Gerard felt this individual was very creepy, and the individual had access to Gerard at all times, right, via the mom. And they were going from, they're traveling, so they're staying at hotels and things of that nature. And he probably feels like his mom really let him down. So in some aspect, he may actually hate his mom. From this writing, it really sounds like that he's very upset about his mom's behavior. And he is very honest, at least at this point in time. He's very honest. Things are going well in his life. He's the successful child that his mom always wanted to be famous. And he created a charity. He created Indieland in his name of his mom. His dad is obviously super involved in all of this. And yeah, I mean, imagine you're a kid. You see your dad working so hard. Your dad, for 9 months, his dad didn't even realize he was not at home and not in school. His brothers and sisters didn't care, right? No one informed the dad until he stole a cell phone because he was tired of being smacked. He literally is being abused. He's saying that he's being smacked in the head. He blacks out, and then he wakes up in a hotel room somewhere. Like, let me read you this again. This is pretty crazy. Like, and the con man who stole over $500,000, which is very close to $600,000, right, for donations. He missed 9 months of school. Who does that to a kid? He's a 12-year-old, right? So he says, there's got to be footage of me somewhere, a 12-year-old me, just getting smacked in the head and waking up in the hotel room the next day. This is not a good mom. This is an awful mom. This is a mom that you may still resent, Gerard, even though you have been talking about your dead mom for years and years and years. This doesn't seem like a really nice individual. This seems like a individual who trusted a con man who kidnapped you for 9 months. Your dad didn't even care, or he didn't even know that you were not home. You had 4 other siblings older than you. They didn't know that you were not home. No one gave a shit about you. And your mom just kidnapped you with a random dude. And this random dude was a con man. He misrepresented who he was. And he probably taught you. I mean, unfortunately, what I will say is true, and people will be offended by what I need to say, but unfortunately, people who often scam others have been scammed themselves. People who have been victims of a crime often are the perpetrators of that victim. People who have been abused often abuse their own kids. This is just human nature. I wish it was different. It is not. It is not different. It's just how humans act and behave. And I seriously, I really wish that people would change. I wish that I could believe that, hey, you've been scammed. That's okay. You're not going to scam someone else. Yeah, it's heartbreaking, but at no time, maybe Gerard still loves his mom, but given that he in 2017 wrote this about his then deceased mom in a very negative light. Kind of indicates that he still has resentment towards her. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Bye, guys.